We both here, standing on business with no fear. I mean that. It's the ring champs when the smoke clears.
What up, fight fans? It's your boy Ak.
And I'm Barak, the boxing bully.
And we're back, another episode of Ring Champs. And this right here, Barak, is a fight, right? This is what we want as boxing fans. Benavidez fighting a big guy that can fight, that can punch,
right,
that has experience against big names. Not that he hasn't done that before. Obviously, Benavidez is a phenomenal fighter, fought a lot of tons of great opponents. But fighting Zurdo Ramirez, to me, it's a real threat.
It's a threat because of size. It's a threat because of experience, because I think he's very experienced. Early on in his career, he had a lot of wins, but wasn't really fighting any names, but he captured a belt. Went to another weight class, captured a belt. So he's capturing these belts. He's showing his skill set, and I think along the way—
You're speaking of Ramirez.
I'm talking about Ramirez.
Right.
He's gotten better and better and better.
Right.
But the thing always been with Benavidez was, hey, you're a weight bully. You're bigger than all these guys. Okay, so he stepped up.
I don't like that.
It was in the beginning, yes, he was bigger than everybody at 168. I get it.
Weight, bro.
I'm just letting you know what they was complaining about. But it was valid that he was at least bigger than everybody. Not the weight bully, because you're making weight, like you said. But he was bigger than everybody at 168. But Vazdik was the first guy who was actually his size, maybe even a little bit bigger, and then he stopped Anthony Yard. So he's already proven that he could fight big guys, but now he's fighting a bigger guy. Ramirez moved up like 2 years ago to cruiserweight.
But just to add, Benavidez is also able to beat skilled boxers. He beat Caleb Plant. Like, he's able to. It's not that he's just been bigger than these guys. He's able to break fighters down. So I think he's a all-around phenomenal fighter.
That was very obvious from the beginning, but that's all people saw, was that he's bigger than everybody. And even he says it. He's like, yo, Canelo's too small for me. Right. These guys are too small. He said Caleb Plant is really not a 168-pounder. He should fight in 160. He said that years ago. So, yes, that's why he's taking on this challenge now and going all the way up to cruiserweight, because he's like, I'm going to show you that my skills is what gave me all of those wins.
No doubt. And I know Benavidez wants the big fights. This might not be the biggest fight, but I would say it's the biggest fight to date in his career.
It's not the fight that I wanted, because I wanted Bivol or Better BF.
Yeah, of course. And I think that this is a lead up to that. For those that think that Benavidez is going to win this fight, and this is May 2nd, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Still a good fight, though.
It's a good fight.
Especially since I heard about those wars that they had in the gym, Benavidez and Ramirez.
But to your point, the Bivol fight seems like the pinnacle at this point in Benavidez's career. That's the defining fight that people would say, oh, I told you he was great. I told you he was great.
Absolutely.
Even though he's great now and we see it.
Absolutely.
But he cannot sleep on Zurdo Ramirez to get to that point.
No.
So people have to understand that this is probably the most important fight in his career, because should he get past this fight, I think the gates open for all of the big fights for David Benavidez.
The reason why you can't sleep on— now, obviously, I think Benavidez is better than everybody that Ramirez has fought.
Yeah,
I really do. Except probably Bivol, that has to be proven. You know what I'm saying? And his hands are faster than everybody's, way faster than Bivol's, everybody. But I do see that Ramirez knows how to fight going backwards, like he did with Dorticos, and then he pushed him forward as well. He could take shots. Dorticos is a very hard puncher. He knows how to take shots. He knows how to roll with shots. He's skillful in there. Subtle, but skillful in there. It's just, can you take the onslaught of the variations of punches, the speed, and the punch output by Benavidez?
Nobody has been able to do that. Maybe because Zurdo's bigger, he can withstand more punishment.
Well, he shows that he got a good chin. He shows that he has a good chin.
So you're saying he's just going to get beat up and be able to deal with it without getting stopped because he has a good chin?
No, I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is that he can't be slept on because he has a chin and he has boxing skills. But I just think that Benavidez just comes with that whole package. He's not just has power, because he doesn't have that concussive power. He's just knocking you out with one shot.
He's going to find a way to stop you, though.
He's breaking you down like Gennady Golovkin used to do. He's breaking you down, but it's with such speed.
And we've said it recently. I think you and I have Benavidez in our top 10 pound for pound, right? Mm-hmm. He's one of the best fighters in the world. So keep in mind, people, you have to tune into this fight. This is one of this era's most exciting fighters without question. And before the main event, we'll go back to, I want to make my prediction prediction on the main event, but I want to talk about the co-main and Munguia versus Resendiz. Is it safe to say that Resendiz is on the cusp of being the next star in boxing, or one of the next stars?
I think he should be one already. I think after the Caleb Plant win, he should be one already. You know, he has a couple of good wins, but he also has those losses that kind of slides him back down the ladder already. But this right here is an opportunity to really put your name amongst the top at least. Even though your name is already at the top and you got a championship, you know, at the top and a known name. That's all.
But does he have to knock Munguia out in order to do so? Because in my opinion, he does. I think that we're in a sport in an era that you have to make statements in the ring. Wins sometimes aren't enough.
Because he's been stopped before, and Resendiz is not a little guy. Canelo's a little guy. I didn't expect Canelo to stop Munguia because he's so small. And he's been stopped before, even though he rematched the guy and beat him. Yeah, obviously everybody's going to be looking for you to stop Munguia.
Right, but that adds pressure to Resendiz. Like, you have to make a statement, especially if people don't understand.
But if he beats Munguia up.
No, listen.
Come on.
Barak, I don't think people realize the difference between a knockout and a win, what that can do for your career moving forward, how much more money you can make. It can be the difference of you getting a fight and not getting a fight. And that fight could be a $10 million fight. So sometimes you have to put pressure on yourself as a fighter. If this is what I want, this is how I have to close the show.
I understand that, and
sometimes
everybody
it's just not winning.
Everybody understands this, but you act like there's some button you press. Oh, I'll take a knockout to go, please.
No, there is. You know what it is? Risks. Taking risks in the ring in exchanges.
With Munguia.
Right. But that's the cost. That's the cost of being a star.
I think he's a good enough boxer to wait till that knockout comes. I think he's a good enough. If you could beat Caleb Plant at boxing, you're good.
Right.
And maybe Caleb Plant had a bad night. Who knows?
A guy like Munguia who gets hit, knowingly gets hit, has been stopped, can be knocked out, even though for a long period of time, he showed to have one of the best chins in boxing. Yeah, remember that? Nobody could even hurt him. Nobody can stop him moving forward.
Absolutely.
Now we know it can happen.
Yeah.
So there's that. If you don't get past him, this is what people, if you don't stop him, people say, oh, such and such stopped him. You couldn't stop him. He's not it. He's not him. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? So I think that he has to stop him, but maybe a vicious, one-sided fight might still get him there. I'd rather see him stop him.
Now I know why you do that Donald Trump imitation so well, because you actually already talk like that. You go like this.
If he doesn't stop him.
You already talk like that.
Nobody will want to watch. Nobody. So that's the reality, Barak. But I want to.
I get it. But a win is a win. And if you win convincingly, you're setting yourself up for a great fight afterwards. What's up, folks? It's Barak, the boxing bully, and we teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook. It's the ultimate destination on betting on the big fights coming your way this year. You're 23 years old, undefeated, unified champion, and what do? You go get the guy who's not a champion, but the guy that the fans want to see you fight. Boots Ennis. Shout out to Xander Zayas for taking on the toughest fight in the division, if not the craziest thing that a 23-year-old man can do. This is a tough fight for both guys. First of all, Xander Zayas is a big 154-pounder, and he knows how to apply pressure. He also knows how to box. Oh my God, you got this guy from Philly. He is ridiculous. Ennis, he can do everything. He can box from the right-handed stance. He can box from the left-handed stance. He can box going forward, box backing up. Listen, we got two guys in their prime. They're both undefeated. If you miss this, you don't like boxing. We've partnered with DraftKings Sportsbook to give you guys an incredible offer. New customers can bet $5 and get $100 in bonus bets instantly. The crown is yours. Sign up using our promo code ATSFights. DraftKings has something for every sports fan. So what you waiting for? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use our promo code ATSFights to level up your fight night experience.
Let's talk about a young man who is a son of a legend, who took a couple of losses, recently has come back to win, and that's Tszyu. We've seen all of the talks about him bringing Errol Spence back into the fold. I think the game misses Errol Spence. I think boxing needs Errol Spence. And I like this fight, and I like the fact that Tim is obviously coming off a win. Are we going to get an announcement soon, after May 2nd, that Errol is coming back to fight Tszyu?
Oh, that's definitely happened.
It's definitely happening.
They're already talking about each other. That's definitely happening. I see that happening. And even though it's not a current champion, like Errol Spence probably wanted, when he first started talking about coming back, he wanted to fight Sebastian Fundora, which now everybody's looking at, he's a hard guy to fight.
Wait a minute.
But that's how Spence is.
No tune-ups.
Right, but even though he's not fighting a champion, Tszyu ain't a tune-up.
Of course
You know what I'm saying? He's actually a very skillful fighter. He just has some losses now.
Yeah.
Losing to Fundora, getting stopped or whatever, that hurt him a lot. And so they're both kind of like in the same boat.
Right.
Even though Spence only has one loss, they're both in the same boat where they need a good name now to put him right back on top because they're right, especially Spence, you're right there.
I would
win.
I wouldn't disrespect Spence like that. I know you're not doing that, but they're not in the same boat. Errol Spence lost to arguably one of the greatest fighters of all time.
I understand
and
that.
that's his only loss.
And I think he can get a big fight no matter what.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tszyu got to prove himself. But yeah, Errol Spence can have a big fight straight off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, he reigned at 147 for a very long time. And look,
Was on the pound for pound
he's
list.
taken a longer break than I guess people anticipated or that people even want. But let that man, let him do what he needs to do in order to get his mind right back into the sport. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing he's doing is staying in shape.
Yeah.
Staying in shape. You see all these pictures. But this is the thing. He must be in an awkward place right now. But I think awkward for him is easy because he's training now alongside Jamal Charlo.
Right.
Jamal Charlo is talking about Spence,
Spence and all that.
Seems like he's not cool with his brother at the moment as well.
Which is so awkward and weird.
But if you're going to fight the twin brother of your stablemate, that's weird.
Super weird. Super awkward. I mean, I would have thought that he probably
think
went
he's
a different
comfortable.
direction.
I think he don't care.
He don't care. Look, he said it before. He said, I'll fight. You know what I'm saying? If we cool and we quote unquote, oh, that's my bro type stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get money together. He's always said that.
He always said, I'll fight anybody. Even when Jamel was like, that's my brother, I'm not going to fight him. It's not like he was scared. He was scared. He was just like, I don't want to fight. And he was saying that he'll fight him.
Yeah, because it's a business and it's about getting money and breaking bread with your folks instead of getting it to somebody else. That's his mentality. So I think, to your point, I think Errol is comfortable. I don't know how Jamal is going to feel. And I don't know how Jamel is going to feel.
That's an awkward spot training with Ronnie Shields.
I can never go against my brother. I couldn't be alongside of somebody that's going to fight my brother.
Right.
It's nuts.
Right.
But,
I don't know, but nowadays it's like Jamal don't seem like he's the one with the beef. I don't know. I don't know what's transpired between the both of them. But eventually, twins are gonna love each other and be friends.
Yeah, I agree. I think that mess will get cleared up. Again, Errol wouldn't care. I'm looking forward to Errol Spence coming back, and I think Tszyu's a perfect fight. I'll say it right now, and you can take it to the bank. I'm just saying.
Take it to the bank.
I think Errol Spence would be too much for Tszyu. I think this break is going to serve Errol Spence well. I'm so keen on that. I just think that he needed this break, and we're going to see a great version of Errol Spence Jr. So that's that. Hopefully it gets announced soon.
That don't sound bad to me.
Going back to the main event on May 2nd, Benavidez is one of the best fighters in the world for a reason. He's going to prove it on May 2nd against Zurdo Ramirez. And this is not a shot at Zurdo. I think Zurdo is a great fighter. I think he's a very good fighter, and I think he can still beat other cruiserweights. Mm-hmm. I just think he's going to be fighting a very special fighter that night who knows what's at stake. And Benavidez, I don't know who's it going to take to beat that guy or even put him in trouble.
Right.
But I don't see it being Zurdo Ramirez.
I mean, just look at Benavidez's track record, from like Caleb Plant on, even up to Anthony Yardy, like champions and really good fighters, different styles, learning all of these styles and showing that his style is dominant. I don't really see anybody beating Benavidez unless he went up to heavyweight.
All right.
And he's been saying for years he's going to go up to heavyweight.
Now, this is a magic question. I mean, we both agree that David wins this fight, wins big. Does he have enough to stop Zurdo Ramirez and make a massive statement? Because that's a whole different outcome than winning the fight.
That's
stopping Zurdo Ramirez.
That's yet to be seen. And I would, let's say if I was a betting man,
right,
I would bet that it would go the whole 12 rounds.
Right.
you know, because Ramirez does have a good chin. He's been hit by some really big punchers, and I think he's going to be hard to get out of there. If he does stop him, I'm going to be super impressed.
And you know, I like being right. I do that often.
When?
So I've been right.
You know,
I've been right. Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out.
The often part is what bothers me.
No, actually, I've been right more often than people know. But I'll say this.
What do you write privately? Oh, he's right when no one's looking and no one has heard him say it. You know, I just wanted to tell you that.
Right is right.
I know the fight is over, but I was right.
Listen, right is right. And I feel that this will be a big statement for Benavidez. And I'll say he'd be the first man to stop Zurdo Ramirez. Late in that fight, from an accumulation of punishment, the referee would say, it's just too much.
And that's a cool inning, but when you're wrong, we don't get nothing from you. We don't get
but that's
I was wrong,
but that's why
pro meal.
This is
nothing.
Well, maybe we'll do something. This is amazing because this is on record and people can go back. I love receipts. I've had
No, you don't.
a few times. I love receipts. When has somebody called me out on a receipt when I was wrong?
Me?
When? Give me an example.
I made fun of you for so many years with your knockouts.
No.
Yo, he's knocking him out. No, he's gonna knock him out.
Name one.
I don't remember them. There's too many of them. There's too many of them.
Unless you can call
because
out.
on the spot I don't remember. It doesn't mean it's not true.
No, because if there's so many, you should remember one. All right.
How about
I've been wrong?
I'll post it for you.
I'll
post it on Instagram for you.
I've been wrong a few times, and I've been right way more. That's that. All right? Why don't you give a prediction? Why don't you say who's going to win?
I just did.
What did you say? Because your predictions are so cryptic. I don't know what.
Were you not here? Were you not here? I said that no one's beating him unless he goes up to heavyweight.
All right, how's he win?
Were you not here?
How does he win? Easy? Hard fight?
Didn't I just say that he probably won't knock him out? Didn't I just say that?
Does that mean it's a hard fight or easy fight? Is that a hard fight or easy fight?
I can't call that, bro. Who cares about that?
You give weak predictions, bro.
I barely ever give them. What are you talking about? Who cares? And you give wrong ones.
At least we getting some. At least we getting some fake little prediction out of you. I said Benavidez stops Zurdo in a massive, entertaining fight. Zurdo will have some moments, but Benavidez will be too much. That's my take on May 2nd. That date has belonged to Canelo Alvarez for many years.
But let's talk about the man that made it famous, Floyd. You know, Oscar had it, but Oscar didn't really use it like Floyd did. Floyd really made those two dates famous in May and in September. Mexican weekends.
Canelo brought it to the next level.
Floyd made them things a thing. He made it a stop it. He made it. What are you talking?
He brought it to the table. He didn't make it more famous than Canelo Alvarez.
The most famous guy, we knew he fought 2 times a year, and we knew exactly when it was. He was the first to do that. That started
with the Showtime deal. It wasn't like a thing that he's done his whole career.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when it started. What I'm saying, in 2013, he made it a thing.
Who did he have to fight in order to make those fights big?
He made it a
Mexican fighters. Oscar, Canelo.
Who cares about all of that? Why are you bringing in other variables?
Because those dates wouldn't be big if it wasn't for those guys.
So what? It was Floyd that beat those guys and made that
But he needed to bring Mexicans to fight on Cinco de Mayo weekend in Independence Day,
You act like that's a different point. You act like that's a different point. It doesn't matter how he did it.
He couldn't do it without them.
He did it. No kidding. No one can do it without a sparring partner.
He didn't make it more famous than Canelo
without a dancing partner.
He didn't make it more famous than Canelo did. Canelo brought Cinco de Mayo.
All I said was let's go back
to Vegas.
All I said was let's go back to who made it famous, who started it, and even
you want to give Floyd too much credit sometimes.
Even though really Oscar De La Hoya was doing it as well, but Floyd ended his career like that.
All right.
Saying these are the dates.
Who made those dates more famous?
Canelo.
Floyd?
I don't have a meter. Then Canelo picked that up. Now that's the.
I have a meter. See, this is a meter.
Listen to why I'm saying
Floyd.
this. Listen to why I'm saying this. Because it's a big deal because it's been going on for so long. It's been going on for over 15 years. That's why it's a big deal. So if you just start with Canelo, I say you're not showing how big of a deal it is. That's why it's a big deal. So if Benavidez could be the guy to take it from Canelo now, that's a big deal because guess what? Canelo's still fighting.
Of course.
Canelo's still fighting.
And
so just
Canelo
like
comes back,
Oscar was still fighting, but it became Mayweather's days.
When Canelo comes back, those dates are still going to belong to him
Oh,
until
that's
he
a
retires.
fact.
You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
But Benavidez can share it with him.
Benavidez is 29. He has the ability now to take it over. When Canelo relinquish it,
Right.
it could become his if that's what he wants to do. He might just be using his date. Hey, it's a good date.
No, but
I might not care about September.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's
Mexican
smart.
independence.
It's a fight weekend, right? And if he can bring a nice crowd to Vegas, you know, against Ramirez, I think that he would even be inspired to take those dates on, right? And maybe he'll come back.
Maybe so.
And maybe he'll come back to fight a Canelo Alvarez. I mean, probably not, but I'm just saying, maybe September will be the next time we see him out. And if we do see him again in September, then we know, okay, that's the strategy.
He wants those dates.
He wants those dates.
He wants those dates.
But he has to win big in May, and I think stoppages. I think it happens with a stoppage. That's my take.
I say unanimous decision.
All right, that's our take on May 2nd, Benavidez Ramirez.